I have sending a textbook to you in the file and textbook. It's still sending to you. Now I would like to show about the first lesson of this week. Wait for a moment. Here is our textbook. Probability and Statistics for Engineers and Science. Ninth edition. Here. Of Paul, Miller, and Mr. Yeah. The first author is Polar from Rocker College, and Raymond from Virginia Technology, and Sharon from Radford University. And the last author of this book is Kayin Ye from University of Texas, San Antonio, US. Here is publisher is British Hall. Here's the first week of our Introduction to Statistics and Data Analysis. We overview the statistical inference, sample population, and the role of probability. And second, we understand what is the sampling procedures, how to collection of data, method of location, the sample mean and median. We have exercise and method variability and exercise, discrete and continuous data, statistic modeling, scientific inspection, and graphic diagnostics. General type of statistical study, design experiment, observational study, and retrospective study and exercise. So when we finish this week, we have many exercises to do in the assignment, okay? Here for the second, we have this book is more than 785 pages. We use the language to code here is a Python, okay? Python language. I will show you. Introduction, Statistics and Data Analysis. Here's our lesson, okay? Overview. I begin in the 1890 and continue in the 21st century. Inordinate amount of attention has been focused improving quality. Improvement of quality of American industry. It's the same other country like Vietnam. We have to improve the quality of many products, okay? And Japanese call the industry is a miracle, which began in the middle of 20th century. Japanese was able to succeed where we and other countries has faced name. The great atmosphere that allows the production high quality production is a much success of the Japanese has been attitude of statistic methods. The factor of Japanese successful in industry is about the statistical methods. The statistical thinking among management personnel is not only the engineer, but about everyone, even that's the management personnel. If you want to be manager in the future, you must be understand clearly about that statistical methods. Okay. Use of scientific data. Use the statistical method in manufacturing, develop of tool product, computer software, energy sources, pharmacy, and many areas involve gathering information or scientific data. Every our life, every product, every company really rise born or rise many data. Even you, when you use computer, you create many data. And we have data, but we have to transform it to information. The gathering data is nothing new. We combine all the data is not new, okay? It has been done for well over 1,000 years. The data have been collected. We collect data, we summarize data, we report data, and sort for breakthrough. However, there is a profound distinction between collection and scientific information. We have to change the data to information. It's an inference tier statistic. We have a key concept here is the inferential statistic. It is a letter that received the rightful attention in recent decades. Have that only several decades here. People have the concept inferential statistic. The offspring inference statistic, inferential statistic, has been last to involve a statistical method employed by statistic practitioners. This statistic method have designed to contribute to process making scientific assessment in the face of uncertain and variance. What is the uncertain and variance? We see that we color for science. For science, we color everything event in our life have only two colors, black and white. Black is wrong, white is true. Black is a fair exam, white is have a good exam. Black or white, black or white. Black is a stolen, white is a good person, everything. However, very gray color. Dark gray, light gray, we have many color gray in between black and white. So it's called uncertainty. Certainty here is not true, not wrong. It's between 0 and 1. It's called probability. So what is the uncertainty here? It's a probability. And we have considered variation. Variation is change. From 1 to 0, it changes fast or changes slow. So the product density of particular material from a manufacturing process is not always to be the same. The same machine, but the product is not always the same. Indeed, if the process involves the batch process rather than continuous, there will be not only variation in manufacturing density among the batch of outcome of the line, batch to batch variation, but also within batch variation. Statistical method are used to analyze. Statistical method is used for analyze data from process such as this one in order to gain more sense of where in the process change may be made improve quality of the process. The data help us analyze data help us improve the quality of doing process, of doing product. Okay. In this process, quality may be well-defined relation, closeness, the targets, density, value, harmony. What proportion of time closeness, reiteration, image? Okay. So here is an example for the product of a drug, Federal Drug Administration. You can read by yourself at home. Now we have a motivation. The statistic method have an inference information and help us to get information from data. And from the information, we improve quality of many products, many fields in our life. Now we have three concepts. You see in our syllabus, we have to understand the concept. Concept here, we have the sample. What is a sample? Observation and population. Here. The information gathered from sample or collection of observation. Sample or collection of observation. The process of sampling introduced in chapter 2. In chapter 2, we know how we proceed with sampling, and the discussion continued through entire this book. We have understand what is a sample. The sample are collected from population. And what is population? We know Vietnamese population. It means that all the person have the Vietnamese nationality. It's the element of the set. Population, Vietnamese population. Okay, so population which are collected of all individuals. Population are collections of all individuals or individual item of particular type. Now I ask, how many Hanoi University of Science and Technology population? So the element here is all individual are students in Hanoi University of Science and Technology now. So all the individuals that called Hanoi University of Science and Technology population. And what is a sample of Hanoi University of Science and Technology students? We collect several individuals from population. We call the samples. Okay. Now, can you write down on the chat box, what is a population? Can you write down population on the comment box, please? We have two concepts here, population and sample. Please write down on the comment box, what is a population? And what is a sample? When we have a population, so the second question, second concept, what is a sample? Okay, Here is an example. Manufacturer, population is all computable manufactured by the firm over a specific period of time. Here, population is all computable manufactured by the firm over a specific period of time. Population of whose is mean all of the student is now is a student by whose over from 2015 up to now, right? So sample collect information on 50 computer boards. I want to get a sample. I choose 50 students in population Hanoi, whose students, so it's a sample. I choose 50 students, different with your friend, choose 50 students. So population is one, however, sample have too many ways to choose a sample. We have many examples you can read by yourself at home. Now, the role of probability. The role of probability, when we understand the population, now we suppose I will show you the concept of probability through population and sample. Suppose that engineering counter data from a manufacturing process in which 100 items are sampled and 10 are found to be defective. Okay, if this manufacturing have many items, so we choose only 100 items as a sample. Sample and population, we have known it, the concept. And we see that 10 are found to be defective. It is expected that anticipant that occasionally there will be defective item. Observe this 100 item represent the sample. However, it has been determined that it's long run. The company can only tolerate 5% defective in the process. Now, the element of probability allow engineer to determine how conclusive the sample information is regarding the nature of process. The sample happen to influence from the result of population. The conceptual represents all possible items from the process. Suppose we learn if the process is acceptable, that is, if that produce item no more than 5%. How is the acceptable process? It's no more than 5%. 5% detective. But this is a sample to show us 10 detective in the 10 items, so it's about the 10%, right? 10% and 5% here is different. And the probability, there is a probability 0.0282 observing 10 or more detective in the item in the random sample 100 items from the process. This small probability suggests that the process does indeed long-run rate detective items that exceeds 5%. In other words, under condition of an acceptable set, the sample information obtained would rarely occur. However, it did occur. Clearly, through it would occur with a much higher probability if the process detective rate exceeds 5% by significant amount. When I say this example, you must difficult to understand because you don't have enough knowledge. However, from the sample and from requirement of the quality product, we see that in 100 items, with the probability of detective here is probability. How we find this probability. And because this value is small, so people give the reason that 5%, the rate exceeds 5% is significant amount. And this knowledge will study clearly in the chapter 8 about the testing. Now you understand that we have the probability. We can find we have the sample. From the sample, we can inference result for the population. That's all. P-value of probability here is quite difficult for you. In the first week, we study in the chapter 10 about the testing. Okay. Forget the example 1.2. Now, how we collect data? We collect data in this table to show us the data set. The data set here is a column. Here's the data. Have two factors, no nitrogen and nitrogen. And from this, we have a dot plot stream of weight data here. The data about the no nitrogen and nitrogen is denoted by the circle or cross shape. So you see that this finger is so the weight of it and the value of it, and here is a called visualization data. Next, from probability, how statistical inference work together. How? The most important of introduction statistic from the data, we have a statistic inference. From probability, we have the statistic inference. Here, it is important for the reader to understand clear distinction between the discipline, the probability, and science or outright, and discipline inference statistics. We have already dedicated to use the application concept in probability or real life interpretation of the result of statistic inference. The result, we can say the statistic inference make use concept of probability. If we want to have the statistical inference in chapter 8, 9, 10, we have to understand the concept of improbability. Or we can say that Statistic inference is the application of concept of probability. So if we want to know the statistic inference, we have to study the concept in probability. Okay. One can glean from the two examples above that the sample information. Here, we choose a sample information. It's made available of analysis and with the statistic model and element of probability. Conclusions are drawn from the sum feature of population. Why? We choose only small sample. We choose 100 item only. However, we conclude for all the elements of population set. I choose only 15 students in our university. I conclude for all the students of our university. More than 30,000 students is the population of our university. When I eat statistic inference, I choose the randomly a sample. A sample here is a 50 student. I statistical inference. It means that I conclude, I give the result based on sample. I will tell the result for population. So statistical inference is like that. Can does not appear accept in the population. The process does not appear to be acceptable in exam 1.1. Nitrogen does appear to influence average steam weight in the exam 1.2. Third, for statistic problem, the sample along with inference statistic allow to draw conclusion for population. Here, from sample, with inferential statistic allow to draw conclusion about the population. Before we apply COVID decision for all the province of Vietnam, people often choose a sample, small commune or village to apply. If it succeeds, we apply for overall all population. If not true, we never. To reduce the risk, to reduce the betting effect. Example, vaccine COVID. Why people have to try a sample? Population of Vietnam is 97 million. Nanogen is a company of Vietnam. Now have to choose the sample and they apply the vaccine for only 6,000. If good result, they apply for population. If not good result, the risk, the bad effect reduce, much more reduce. So it calls the inference statistic. If it's true for the sample along with inference statistic, allow to draw the conclude with population. Okay? So with the inference statistic, making clear use the element of probability. If we want to apply for population, we have to clear understand element of probability. Now we see that from sample, statistic inference, we apply the result for population. From population, we have to understand what is the probability here. So here is a circle. If we want to understand about the sample, we have probability. If we want to conclude for population, we have a statistic inference. So our code is probability and statistic. It's here. The object is the population and sample. Now the fundamental relationship between population and inference statistic is the present in this figure. Please write down on the comment box the fundamental relationship. You can write down by the arrow. Please write down on the box chat box the relationship between probability and statistic. The relation between probability and statistic on the comment box, please. I give to you 2 minutes. Do you understand my question? Please write down in the comment box the fundamental relationship between probability and inferential statistic. I don't receive any comment on the chat box. Can you hear me? I don't know. But I don't know answer. I understood, but I didn't know the answer. Here is a fundamental relationship. Population, we write the arrow. To probability, and from probability to sample, from sample to static inference, and inference to population. I get from statistic is result of probability. No, it's a circle. It relates together. It's like the chicken and egg. Here's a chicken and here's the egg. Chicken, probability here is like to born the egg. Egg is born to the chicken. Population and sample is the two objects. Please write down the comment box relationship between population and the sample or probability and statistic here. Okay, maybe it's very new, so it's mixed to you. Now, I change to the sample product growth view and collect data. Now I have to show you sample. Now we consider the simple random sampling. The importance of proper sampling revolves around the degree confidence with the analyzer is able to the question being asked. Let's assume that only the single population exists in the problem. We have a population, and with simple random sampling imply that any particular sample of a specific sample size have the same chance of being selected as any other sample of samples of the same size. Here is a simple random sampling. Simple sampling implies that any particular sample of a specific sample size has the same chance of being selected as any other sample of the sample size. It calls a simple random sampling. Sampling let I have the board. Please wait me for a moment. I will show you what is a simple random sampling. Okay, I change it to another screen. Can you see me? Yeah. Here's the population. Population have all the individual that we concern. The individual. And here's the population. And now with simple random sampling, it means that we want to choose a sample here. Sample is a collect from the sample is a collect from the population. What is the simple random sampling? We choose randomly this element here. We choose random, right? Random. What is a random? We random. It means that we don't know the result after that. We can't expect any result. What is the element is choose? The second, we choose another individual to the sample. And the last is here. Here's the first, the second, and 10 is the n. And the size of the sample. The number of elements of the sample is n. So we call here is the sample size. Sample size. And here's the population, and here's the sample size. Here's the sample, and we have a sample size. The way to choose the sample, we call that is a random. The action here is choose random to have the sample. And simple here is that every individual have the same probability. Simple here. Mean that is all of the individual have the same chance. To choose. That's all. Simple is to have the same chance to choose. Every element in population have the same chance to choose. It's called simple. Do you understand? What is the population? What is the sample? What is the sample size? What is the sample? We have 4 concepts. First, population. Second is a sample. 3 is a sample size. And 4 is a simple. Did you understand 4 concepts here? If yes, please write down on the chat box yes. If you don't understand, please ask to me. Ask a question to me. We have the 4 concept is a bias sample. Simple cancel is a individual have the same chance to choose. The bias sample is not randomly. Is not choose randomly. It means that if we want to, from population, we consider the quality of student of Hanoi University of Science and Technology. If we choose randomly, we have the simple random sample. But we want to do fake sample. We consider about the quality of student. We choose only the few students have a high score, only choose high score. So it calls the bias sample. Or vaccine example. Vaccine have to choose all of the women and men and from all of the eggs from 18 to 100, and from the weak and strong. But vaccine infected choose only very strong people. It's called bias sample. It's not really true. People have to find a simple random sample. Why people have to choose a simple random sample, not bias sample? To assure that the result of the sample still true for population. If we use the bias sample, it's true for the sample, but it's not true for population. So it's a bias sample. Okay. I want to understand that. Do you understand this concept? Do you understand this concept? Now, about the experiment design. Experiment design. When we have the concept of randomness or random assignment play a huge role in area experiment design. Example, we treatment or treatment combination come from population to study compare with circumstance. An example, no nitrogen treatment in the example 1.2. Another simple example would be play ball and activate drug. Drug like vaccine, you see that if we choose the strong people and randomly, it's a different effect of vaccine. So the result of the sample can't influence here statistic for population. So how we can solve the randomly to treatment or conditioner? It means we have to find the way complete randomly design. The vaccine is the same with the treatment of a drug or medicine. So we can understand that how to choose randomly is problem in statistics and in probability. Okay. Now we move on the why assign experiment unit randomly. What is the probability negative impact or not randomly? Not randomly negative impact. Not randomly, right? We use a bias sample. It's not good for population at all. It's good for the sample, but it's not good. We can't influence for population. You remember in the United States now vote for Trump and Hillary. When people use a sample, The sample said that Hillary is win for the president. However, in the real, the population of total United States, Trump is the winner. So people, and then when the result finished, people said that, oh, the sample in previous to do statistics is a biased sample. So it's not too true with population. So the negative impact is because of not randomly. So how do we choose the sample randomly? It's the knowledge of this course. Please read it in the textbook. Okay. I show you the new concept, descriptive statistics. About the data. The data here, you can see that we have two data about the two factors. The first is the humidity. The second is the average corrosion in the thousand of cycle to failing. Two factors. Here's the humidity. And here's a coating and uncoating chemical core is here. And we can describe it by the finger. The horizon axis is the humidity, and the vertical axis is the average corrosion. So it's the 20% and 80% is the humidity. Here's a uncoated 20%, and here's a 1,000. 20% is a nearly 1,975. So we draw this picture, and this picture shows us the descriptive data. We have many types of data to descriptive data or visualization data. The last knowledge of this week about the measure of location. What is the location of data? We always consider location. Here is the position in the earth. Data have the location, and it is the sample mean and median. And what is the sample mean? Sample mean is denoted by x bar. X bar is defined equal sum of xi over n, that I from 1 to n. Or we can write down x1 plus x2 plus c dot 3 dots plus xn over n. Okay, so x bar people call it the sample mean. Now please write down on the chat box what is the sample mean. What is the formula of sample mean? Please write down on the comment box. Can you write down the formula of sample mean? Sample mean is considered location of data. location of data is the sample mean. Write down on the comment box formula of sample mean, please. I received a question from Khai. Khai said that, excuse me, madam, so each element in the population domain, we have one sample. And that means we have solved a lot of equal. No, you don't understand what is a sample. Sample is a collect a number of individual in population. It's not only one. It's some element of population, and the number of individual in sample, we call that the sample size. If it's random, how answer the sample is right for? We have the theory inferential statistic for it in the next chapter. Your question is good question. Individual is good. Thang says me, individual is a symbol. Is it right? No, it's not true. Symbol is here. We call that we have many ways to choose the sample. We have many ways to design experiment. Simple here is all the elements we choose one by one. Some way to choose the sample is not by symbol like this. Not choose individual. We choose the clustering. We choose the bunch or the batch, and many ways to choose. If you read by this course, you will understand that people not only choose the element by the simple way. Trần Xuân Bách asked me, no, can you speak again in Vietnamese? No, I don't speak anything in Vietnamese in this course. The course required me to deliver the speech in English. Hope I understand, okay? Please write down on the chat box the formula sample mean. It's very easy. Sample mean x bar equal x1 plus x2 plus xn over n. It's very easy, right? Okay, Ninh Việt Lam, you are right. The other student, the same mean is the average of it. The sample mean is the average of it. The average and the mean quite different. You will know it in the future. The sample mean and the average is different. Different definition, okay? Trần Xuân Bách. The sample mean, only that we plus all the value of the sample and then we divide it to n. There are other methods, central tendency that are discussed in detail in the future chapter. One important method is the sample medians. The support of the sample median is to flex the central tendency of the sample in such a way that is influenced by extreme value or outlier. Here's the definition of median. Given that observation in our example x1, x2, xn, arrange the increasing order of magnitude. The sample median is x wave. X wave equal xn plus 1 over 2, or 1 over 2 xn plus 2 over 2 plus n over 2 plus 1. Here is n is odd and n is even. Okay. Now I show you. Okay, I use Coco. It's better. I still have a 8 minutes, right? I think I still have 8 minutes. Oh, I have a 2 minutes. Okay. I want to show you the way to find out the x bar, sample mean, and x wave median. 2 minutes enough for me. Now you have the account of Google. I hope that you have an account of Google. I have the menu account. You will create a new, and we use the Google Collaboratory. You can share with your friend, and your friend can code with you, right? So here's the first time you use this Python. You can browse exercise 1. Exercise 1. Okay. Example, I have the x1 equal is the statistic embryology score. X2 is 4. X3 equal 8. X4 equals 6. Now we want to choose what is the sample mean? Sample mean is the x bar, right? Equal x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 over 4. Oh, what is? Sorry. It's very simple. Okay. So x bar 6.25. Now we want to find the. Let me see. I don't remember. Here. First, we have the data. My computer is quite low. We have the data. I have 10 students. I will use the package NumPy. NumPy is the numerical Python. So I denote it as NP, and I want to write down the table. So the table here is mean that L equal, here's an array. And we, example, there are 5 students have 6 score, and 6.5 have 6 students, and 7 score have 7 students. Example like this. So I know the class have this array, and we want to know what is the length of n, right? Here's a sample size. Oh, sorry, L. Here's a sample size. Now I want to know the mean sample mean. So we write down the demand NP mean L here. We know that is 6.55, and now we want to know the median L. So we have this. Oh, sorry, NP. Here is 6.5. 6.5 different with mean, median different with mean. It's like this. Follow the formula we study. Okay, finish for today. Please doing exercise here. We find out the population, mean, the median. Follow this and use the Python to do it. Okay, do you understand? And we can find to plot the data. Plot is very easy. However, I would like to show you maybe next week. Now finish you have to prepare for next hour of other course. So finish for today. Please doing exercise in the best. I will show you in the assignment. Okay. Goodbye and see you on the Saturday. Sorry, so on the Friday. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye. Goodbye, teacher.